Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting is an entertainment-based wrestling program. The opinions shared are that of the host and their guests. Some celebrity voices are impersonated and usually not well. This program is not intended for kids and certain adults. Listeners' discretion is advised. You have been warned. Now let's get ready to podcast. Hey, everybody make some noise. Woo. We are live at Boulder Station inside the Kicks Lounge. And I'm your host, DJ Impact. I got the rest of the bad boys with me. Like King Lucky, how are you?
Oh, I am great.
Sin City Steve.
Well.
Simon Street.
What's up, everybody? LV.
And Matt Michaels.
Not so.
That's okay. I'm the asshole.
Facts.
All right. We have a special guest here live. I'm excited. I know you all are. Make sure you have your signs in your hands. Get your screams ready as I introduce Katie Forbes and RVD. That's all you guys got? Come on now.
One more time.
One more time.
Get on your feet.
All right.
They papered the crowd. The whole house is papered with RVD signs.
Yes.
And there's no Katie Forbes signs.
Oh. Uh-oh.
That's why you got half a pop.
That's my fault, I'm sorry.
You're all good.
You said a special guest. I was getting ready to clap for Katie Forbes.
Right. As you should have.
I did.
Awesome.
So we're going to go ahead and get this started. And, my first question is going to be for you, Katie. Take us back to your childhood a bit. Were you a wrestling fan? And then also, too, how did you get involved with fitness?
Hey everybody, I'm Katie.
Come on, big applause. Yeah.
Growing up, I didn't watch wrestling. I got into wrestling after getting into fitness, and I got into fitness just loving bodybuilding and competed in fitness competitions, and that led me to meeting my mentor and joining wrestling school.
Okay.
And who was the mentor?
Luke Hawks in New Orleans, and I started at Wildcat Wrestling.
We know Luke very well, and we might actually have a little something for you in a little bit from Luke.
He's been on this show, right?
Yeah?
Yes, he
I
has.
thought I saw the poster. You might not know this, but I met Luke on the set of my only starring role, Wrong Side of Town. He's in a fight scene there.
No shit.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Now I'd have to talk to him about that.
Yeah.
I think we have a whole
He's gone on
nother
to
show.
bigger and better things with Wolverine and Deadpool and Fast and Furious, all that shit he's doing. But
Yeah, I guess so. But
he's in Wrong Side of Town.
and everyone, please go home and get Wrong Side of Town. Okay? It is.
It
See?
is.
It is good.
Watch Headstrong first. That's more important.
Exactly.
Exactly. More current.
And don't just
More
rent it,
RVD,
buy it.
More RVD.
Exactly. And buy it on iTunes.
Yes, iTunes, 100%.
So
Headstrong.
that's right. Give it up for Headstrong.
We love Headstrong.
We love Headstrong. We love Headstrong.
Awesome. So Katie, we'll keep the questions going. Who is your all-time favorite female wrestler, and what influence has she had on your career in and out of the ring?
My all-time favorite wrestler is Chyna. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she's just such a strong woman, so that's what inspired me inside and outside the ring, that she could hang with the boys.
Hell yeah. Very cool.
Nice. Rob, I got one for you. Who's your all-time favorite wrestler?
You better say Rob Van Dam.
No, I mean, all-time favorite wrestler, I gotta go with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And I might not have known how much he inspired me as a kid, but just looking back now, through my whole life, what a immortal he really was for the whole industry. I mean, he was bigger than WWE during my childhood, and now obviously WWE is bigger than any of the wrestlers they have on TV now. So that's how fucking big he was. It still is.
Speaking of Hogan, did you get a chance growing up to go to WrestleMania 3?
Yes, I did. I was in that crowd.
Woo!
Nice.
Wow, that's something I did not know.
Yeah, I did an interview with somebody not too long ago, and this guy was really good at pointing out stuff that I should realize about my life, probably, but I don't have that same perspective. Like, right when I got in, I was like, the fan in me was stripped away intentionally. Like it was beat out of me. I couldn't be a fan anymore to be in the dressing room back then. It was different times. Right. And but so anyway, because of that, certain things don't stick out in my mind the way that they do with other guys. Working with certain people, whatever. I had no idea that I'd main evented Madison Square Garden until Tommy Dreamer told me that he and I did it. And I don't even know if that's the first time, but whatever. But what was I talking about? Something about
WrestleMania 3.
So during the interview, the guy says, "How did it feel that at WrestleMania 3, there you were on the floor, a fan holding up signs, and then at WrestleMania 18, you were in the ring winning the Intercontinental Championship from WWE?" And I was like, "Fuck, I never thought about that."
Oh, man. Yeah, because you always hear about Edge in WrestleMania 6 and his, seeing Hogan, and you always see the video and stuff. But I guess it's because they haven't found a video of you that it just never comes up. That's amazing, man.
I never saw the one of Edge either, but I'll take your word for it.
Rob, which opponent do you hold in the highest regard? I know you've had many legendary matches in a storied career, but is there one opponent that you hold in the highest regard that every time you go out you can tell a great story with?
There's several. To name one, I will say Sabu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was my mentor. He trained me, and we have similar vision as far as like what's cool in a match and what we want to give, of our body, sacrifice for the match to make it entertaining. And because of that, I always know that we're going to tear it down, as well as a lot of other people too. But he's done a lot to change the industry, as I have too. We're both OGs. But he was the first guy to bring a table in the ring and start putting people through it, and a bunch of stuff that people don't even know now because everyone just bit off his shit, so much, and did it on bigger platforms. And so a lot of times people won't even realize that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was it like, speaking of tables, what was it like taking a table for the first time?
I don't remember my first time. Yeah. I remember going through a table with Sabu at an indie show, probably 94-ish, like way before ECW. And I don't know if that was my first table. It couldn't have been. But that's when I realized that was like starting to be his regular thing. And then he was wrestling in New Japan, and he was like the top indie guy making the most money at the time. And Sabu's so headstrong. He even if they told him, do not bring a table in the ring, he would do it every night. He didn't care if he was working for Inoki or Baba. If they told him not to do it, he wouldn't care. He would do it anyway. If they'd say don't throw the chairs around, he would do it anyway. Like he always stuck to his guns, which made him entertaining because he's so reckless. Also, might have made him a little more dangerous to book, I guess. That in a few ways, I think that was good and bad. for him in
Yeah.
his career. Yeah.
Katie,
One time, by the way, we're
Yeah.
in All Japan, and I wrestled Sabu, and I beat Sabu, and then I found out after the match that the office wanted it to go down the other way. Sabu made the decision to translate it to me the way he thought was right. Yeah.
that I'm sure that that went over well with the
Yeah,
office.
very well.
Katie, so we talked a little bit here about Luke Hawks. I reached out to Luke, and he gave us a couple questions. So the first question is, growing up, you didn't watch wrestling. So how tough was it when you started training? Because most people do watch wrestling growing up.
Yeah, it was really tough when I joined wrestling school, and it seems like after seeing other wrestling schools that Wildcat is very old school style, and so we had to train outside of the ring and do things like I started on the same day with another girl, and we had to pay the same dues as the men did before they got into the ring, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do. Yeah, and they were very stiff, I feel like, in that school too, but it was tough, but obviously I stuck with it.
Yeah, we still talk about this all the time, because even fans that watch wrestling, that are just having fun playing, imitating, pretending they're wrestling, like from a certain perspective, that puts them so far ahead of her who didn't watch it.
Right.
So a lot of her questions, like why are they doing this or why they do that here instead of that? She doesn't know from the traditional perspective that, like you said, most of us do know that she came in and said, "Hey, this looks fun." She had opportunity first and said, "Yeah, this looks cool," and then tried to learn not just the wrestling, but the whole psychology, the storyline. She kind of is doing it backwards.
Yeah.
So, Katie, what was it like training at Wildcat Sports?
That comes straight from Luke himself.
That's another question from Luke. Yeah.
It was cool. It was like a family. It still is like a family there, and yeah, it was awesome. And Luke actually introduced me to Rob as well. So he introduced me to wrestling because he had sent my pictures in. Just knowing him from the gym, sent my pictures in to be a Rosebud on WWE. And so I owe it to him for helping me find that passion, and then also for hooking me up with the love of my life.
Very cool. And so final question from Luke. What does Luke expect out of his students?
Luke's old school. I know.
Yeah.
Luke's like me. We're from a different generation. Like I had to get beat up first. You know what I mean? And not just me. Everybody we had to get literally beat up first to prove we could handle it, and then tested to see if we had any ability as far as leverage, common sense. Any physical ability, and Luke's like that. So whenever she would tell me something that Luke said, it was always like right on par with my perspective, and vice versa. If I said something, she would say, "Yeah, that's what Luke says all the time too." Mm-hmm. He expects them to respect the business, right, baby?
Yeah.
And to like put it first. Like that's how I had to get in. Like there's so many people that they say this, but it's so true. You have to eat, breathe, and sleep it. It's easier to get in now just because, for many reasons, but because there's so many more groups, because the curtain's been jerked open and now fans think they understand it, so that allows them to and they think they could do it better, whether it's wrestling or writing or whatever. And because of all that, it's easier to get in now than it was. It was a closed door society when I got in, and it was protect the business first. Now it's more about let's show what we could do if we didn't give a fuck about protecting the business, because they're catering to a crowd that thinks they understand it, even though they don't. That still makes all the difference in the matches and the moves and everything. So I know that Luke's old school like me. Who trained Luke? Do you know?
He got trained by different people.
Oh.
So, Rob, kind of talking about, Katie's journey in training at Wildcat. Could you tell us some stories about training with the original Sheik?
I'm sure I could. I met the original Sheik in December of '89, same year that I graduated high school, and I'd already been corresponding with every wrestling school I could find and working every odd job trying to save money for wrestling school. And I was all of like 180 pounds, It wasn't like I was gifted and people were saying, you should be a pro wrestler. It wasn't like that at all. But I met a guy that was. He was a big 315-pound power lifter. And I was like, dude, if I had your gift, man, I'd make so much money. We started talking. He introduced me to the Sheik.
Wow.
Yeah. And he also trained me in lifting. He was a power lifter. And I was bagging groceries at the time. He came through, and I was just like, dude, you're huge. And he became my evil mentor for a few years. Taught me about chasing hoes and the things that a young man at that age, picks up. And the Sheik was always like so paternal. He would take care of us in a family-like way. He never like, I would hear him talk around his family, but he would never break kayfabe. He never, here's something that like I don't think anybody will really believe, but he never smartened us up while we're training. And I say we, there was only like at the most 5 of us. It was very personal. Usually there was like 3 of us, but he never once said, this is how you do a move without hurting somebody, or this is how you land right, without getting hurt, or make sure you take care of somebody, or, safety first. None of that shit, ever. Because we played around pretending we were wrestling, we had our own common sense, as far as like we knew we had to work together to an extent in order to pull off some of what we wanted to do, but with his training, it was all just about making sure we believed what we were doing. And I honestly think that's what makes the difference between my work over the years and other people. Like when people ask me to critique their matches or whatever, it's like I can tell like you don't believe in the moment, so how's anyone else going to believe in it? I believe I'm in a fight like the whole time. I'm in that state of mind, and it's like with Sheik, man, it was just about grabbing the guy and like jumping on him every time his shoulders were down, and you couldn't headlock or go behind hard enough or fast enough, and it was all so stiff and so much more grappling that it was all about the basics and fundamentals, and that's also what's missing, because I had to learn to add extreme onto that, and to learn, I enjoyed flips and flying, and so I would add that onto that, usually when he wasn't around, but it was all based on that nucleus. And so now there's all these guys that watched me growing up, and they didn't have the Sheik, and they don't have that nucleus, and they don't know what they're doing. They're just dancing out there with somebody. And so that's another thing that comes across as way different. Fans don't always realize why they feel different when they're watching something. Right. But I after 30 years in the business, I'm able to break it apart, and that's one of the things right there is that when they're out, and by the way, inside the business, that is an age-old debate. Is it a fight or is it a dance? For me, it's always been a fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. Katie, you have a couple of memories with Mean Gene, God bless his soul. What did you learn from Mean Gene being around him?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Mean Gene. We always had an instant friendship when we first met. And the first thing he told me was like, you are way too pretty to go off the top rope. Girls that need attention jump off the top rope, but you get attention just walking in the room. So that was his advice for me. Yeah, but I had a lot of fun with him. Yeah.
Another thing that she told me one time that Mean Gene said, Katie, if you get any hotter, I'm gonna die.
No, he said, no, he said, if you get any hotter, I'm going to kill myself. No.
So, kind of going along these lines with back in the day questions for you, Katie. When you had a chance to wrestle on Wildcat's X-rated show with Trina Michaels, who is a friend of the show, did you get any in-ring tips from her?
No, not really.
Okay, follow-up question.
Just the tip.
Did you get any tips for the bedroom from her?
No. But her boobs did fall out, though.
Hello.
I switch mics over.
Okay.
There we go.
They're ready for you.
Cool.
Just the tip, yeah. All right, Simon.
Oh, just the tip.
With just the tip, you know, Katie, at Wildcat Wrestling, you had an opportunity to face Kendra Brink, who, as most people who watch NXT on Wednesdays, is Jessica Carr, who's a referee. You know, what was it like working with her in the ring? And did she get a chance, or how do you also feel about females now having a chance in the industry of being, you know, full-time referees?
I think it's awesome. Yeah, it was a cool experience wrestling her in the ring, and we had a tag match, so it was really fun. And I think it's awesome she's a referee. Yeah, I just saw her this week when we were at the Raw reunion.
Really?
Very cool.
Anybody catch that?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody surprised?
Very surprised.
Very.
I was surprised.
So, Rob, you were in WCW for a short time in 1993 during the Bill Watts era as Robbie V. Do you have any memories or any stories of your time there?
I have no memories of that. Yeah, you know, it's weird how dates stick in my mind. It's so weird. But so I started. It's weird how my career breaks down like that. But I went in December of 92, and I stayed till May of 93. Bill Watts hired me, and then in February, I went to my very first tour of All Japan. I had that. It was a previous commitment. WCW worked with New Japan, which is All Japan's competition, but Bill Watts said, "Look, I'll let you honor this commitment, this one booking, and go ahead and do it." I went to Japan February '93 for the first time and got over huge. Like, I knew I had like a job there as long as they were pretty obvious about they wanted me to come back, and the money was like ridiculous compared to what I was getting. But when I came back from Japan, Bill Watts was gone. Ole Anderson was running the show, and he didn't have the same interest in Robbie V. So I found myself either putting guys over on TV or giving guys tryout matches and dark matches. And I was getting $150 a match. Yeah, $100 on TV.
Oh my God!
They would dock you $50 when you were at center stage on Peachtree Avenue, whatever, because you're on TV. And so, with All Japan, I started at $2,000 a week. So I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And I left on my own. I feel like I've told the story so many times, but whatever. Maybe not everyone's heard it. Okay, so I'm leaving. I'm super green at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in 93. I just turned 22. I'm a baby. I mean, it is amazing I can remember that far back. But I'm out of here. I told Mike Graham, who was my agent, and I'd never signed the contract because I didn't like it there. And so I kept telling them I lost my contract or I left it at home. Yeah, and I did that for 5 months. I still have my WCW contract. I swear, I do. And I kept saying, "Oh shit, yeah," and then he'd give me another one, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll bring it next week." And then finally I said, "You know what? I'm gonna give you my notice. I'm gonna leave." And he's like, "Why?" And I was like, I'll just do better on the indie scene. I mean, I'll make more money, and I'm getting jobbed out here. I knew that at 22, that was the best move for me. Chris Benoit, who had more experience than me and was there at the same time, he was offended the way that the wrestling business would be offended by a green kid quitting a TV spot to go work the indies. That's the wrestling business should be offended by that. I'm offended, but it was the right thing to do for me. And so Chris Benoit, he comes up to me, and I didn't know the guy at that time, but I know him a little bit, but he felt comfortable enough to come up to me and say, "I heard you're leaving," and I said, "Yeah." He goes, "For what? For what? You're gonna go back to doing what? Indies?" And I said, yeah, I get a lot of work on the indies and it'll be better." And he goes, "Well, I think you're fucking stupid." And he got like real intense. Like he got like intense, And he goes, "You know how many fucking people would break their leg to be in the position you're in right now? You're on fucking TV. You're on WCW. You know how many wrestlers would die to be where you're at, and you're gonna fucking leave and go do fucking indie shows?" And I'll always remember that, of course, But I was thinking, man, this motherfucker's allegedly got an $800 a week guarantee, and and that sounds pretty good to me. But I'm paying for fucking hotels and gas out of the little bit that I'm fucking making. And anyway, I left and was making so much more money on the indies, selling my merchandise, running shows with Greg Price from North Carolina, and I never regretted it. I never regretted, I don't think, any decision that I made in the business. Even though I've made a lot of unpopular decisions, that's what life is like really identifying your own path and getting to know it and realizing that what's best for everybody isn't best for you. 2007, a very similar situation because I'm leaving. My contract's coming up with WWE. And I'm so burnt out, and they've destroyed ECW, so I don't even have any heart at this time, And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finish my contract. I'm just not gonna resign. Chris Benoit comes up to me in the dressing room, same fucking thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Only this time he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I heard you're leaving," and I said, "Yeah." This time he goes, "Well, I just want you to know, a lot of us boys respect the fuck out of you for what you're doing." And I was like, "Oh,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. That's like
yeah."
a full circle story. That's amazing.
And it's kind of eerie when I think about what he said, because I said, "Well, Chris, I'm not saying I'll never come back. I just, I need a break. I'm taking up." And he goes, "No, fuck that. That don't matter." He goes, "You know when it's time to leave." He goes, "A lot of us here, we don't know when it's time to go." Every time I tell that story, I get goosebumps because of the way, because of what happened to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He, didn't know when it was time to go, and I think that what happened to him is a byproduct of the industry. I don't put the blame on anybody else, but just like many of my other friends. They go out in a tragic way, and the pathology leads back to, slamming our heads around like we do.
Yeah. And thank God, again, Headstrong, if you guys haven't seen Headstrong.
Dude, Headstrong is a documentary that I made that anyone that says they're a big fan of mine, you can't be if you don't watch Headstrong. I mean, you can be. I don't mean to put that line on it, but the truth is you'll learn so much more about me and know me so much more because it's so personal, as I think every documentary should be. This one takes a turn on its own and becomes about something completely different than I first set out to do, and I'm forced to learn about concussions and the side effects from impossible long-term damage. So that's what Headstrong is about, because my brain is in question during the movie, and I'm sharing every fact as I'm learning it.
And one of the coolest things is it's a $9.99 film, and it's only an hour. I literally, when I finished it, I was writing down questions to talk to you because we were going to talk to you about the film, And I found myself writing, I want more.
That's a good thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Katie,
Is that just because Katie's in it?
no, Katie's dog. That was the draw. Yeah. So, Katie, you made your debut for Impact Wrestling at United We Stand. You wrestled a four-way match with Jordan Grace, Rosemary, and Tyra Valkyrie. What were your nerves like going into the match? And of the three women you faced, did you mesh? Who did you mesh with the most in the ring and out of the ring?
I was excited because it was awesome to make my Impact debut and also to be making my Impact debut with Rob and Sabu.
Yeah.
So it was like Rob and friends. That was cool. And of course, Taya is who I bond with the most outside of the ring because we're really good friends. And we both used to live in LA and we hang out a lot. And then in the ring, I worked with Jordan Grace the most in the ring. And yeah, it was cool.
Is she in the ring? Is she as tough, as she appears? Because she is one hell of a strong woman. Does she lay it in when she works?
I can't remember. My adrenaline was pumping. I was excited.
Awesome. And Katie, you also debuted for ROH in March of this year, right here in Las Vegas. You teamed with Maserati against Mayu Iwatani and Sumi Sakai. How much of a language barrier was there in mapping out that match, getting everything squared away?
Well, the language barrier was really funny because Mayu said, "You, me." So I understood that. And she poked me in the boobs to show me the boob difference, boob differences. But
We love boobies.
Yeah, it's universal language, boobs. Yeah, but besides that, language barrier seems to me like it's the same everywhere with wrestling. Like when I wrestle in India or go to seminars in India, everyone understands the same stuff. And even when people aren't speaking the same language, people will laugh and smile at the same time. So it's cool how that's international.
So kind of with that as well, what are your thoughts with working with one of our friends from the show, Maserati? What was that like for you?
She was awesome. Yeah, she was really cool.
She kind of seems like she always has a lot of energy. She's always just as she puts it, I'm the baddest bitch.
Yeah, I like her personality.
Did you feel a lot of that kind of working with her? That just that spunkiness that
Yeah.
you know what? I don't give a damn what anybody says. I'm gonna do what I do.
Yeah, we're a lot alike in that way. So then we were putting together our entrance dance. It was we were on the same page, and we also had worked together before at Luke Hawk's seminar. Yeah.
Nice. Speaking of Maserati, you recently made your debut for LFC. How was that?
That was so much fun. Yeah, I fought cheerleader Melissa, who's also one of my trainers that I wrestle with here. And that was a cool experience. I'm going to wrestle for them again in August.
Awesome.
So, this question is kind of for both, Katie and Rob. What is your mind frame kind of going into the match? Now, with Katie, what is your mind frame usually going into the match? And then once you answer that question, Rob, do you feel like your mind frame has changed when you go into a match from a long time ago when you first started to where you are now? Whoever wants to answer first.
Sure. When I'm going into the match, I'm just thinking that if I'm nervous, I just think I train for this every day by working out and wrestling training. So then I just remind myself that I'm that bitch.
All right. You heard it. That's what I wanted to hear. And how about yourself, Rob?
Yeah, so that's, it's showtime at that point. That's the stress of the day. So I avoid that as much as possible. I believe if you interview any wrestler and ask them about working with me, ask them about getting together with me before a match. because I am invisible all day, and I avoid everybody as long as possible, if possible, until like the match before mine. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like that's me and Willie Mack had a match that just aired on TV on Impact. Yeah. I'm literally telling them what I want to do while the match before is in the ring, and I've always been that way. Because I don't, once you punch in, you know, that, like I say, that's the stress. So I live my life like that. In order to keep my energy zenful and leveled, I don't deal well with stress at all. So if I can be 23 hours and 30 minutes stress-free, and then I have 30 minutes of just let's go, and I'm multitasking, I'm doing everything at once, for me that works. It's very stressful for somebody to be around me and be with me like that, but it's something that I morphed into over the years, you know what I mean? So when it's right before the match, that's when the pressure's on, and boom, 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 and then I'm doing some jumping jacks. I want to get my heart rate up, because being what we call blowed up when you're winded in the ring is the worst feeling. Probably not the worst feeling in the world. I could probably think of some torturous, but I hate it though. You feel like such a victim. It almost never happens. I'm always in good condition, but once in a while, a victim of jet lag from traveling around the world, not sleeping right, whatever. Once in a while, when I get in the ring, I'll get blowed up, and it's so bad. It's so bad. You're trying to get air, you're like, and you can't breathe, and you feel like you're a victim, and you feel like anybody, a 12-year-old could come out of the front row and pin me right now, and I wouldn't even be able to defend myself. And it's like, oh, I need to tag out, but it's a singles match. I'm dying here. That's the worst. So because that doesn't happen very often, years and years go by in between that, and that's because right before the match, my mindset is, okay, I don't want to fuck up. I want to pull off everything that I want to do here. I want to make sure that I'm ready. As far as like, is it different than it used to be? Fuck yeah. Dude, forget about it. When I go out right now, I'm about as excited as I am right here. When I go out through the curtain, sometimes I'm still getting dressed. I'm taping up my wrist, like, oh, that's my music? All right, that's cool. That's cool, man. Am I twisted? Is my outfit twisted? And I'm good. And I walk out there. But I do the jumping jacks and stretching before that. It's just that I don't get nervous because I'm confident. Like I know, no matter what the fuck happens, I know I'm going to be awesome. You know. So I go out there completely comfortable. Yeah. And usually, like when I'm going out there, I'm so relaxed, the same way I've been all day. And then as soon as I plug into the fans and their excitement, as soon as I get through that curtain, like boom, it just like, it cranks me up. I just like take their energy, and then it's just like bam, it's showtime. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so Katie, what is your dream match with any current talent in any organization?
I know I like watching Asaka. Yeah.
She good.
Yeah. I like Becky Lynch too. Yeah, there's a lot of great female talent, and all the Impact talent right now is awesome. So it's cool working with them. Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't have like a fantasy match, and I also never have. Like when I've always asked that question over the years. I never have a good answer because I really don't think like that. I don't see somebody and be like, ooh, man, I would like to be in the ring with them. In fact, I don't even think like, ooh, I'd want to be in the ring, you know? It's easy for fans to just imagine that, like, there's RVD, here's a chair. I bet he wants to pick this chair up and crack someone in the head. No. But if you're paying me enough, I'll do it.
Rob, Katie has been featured in so many promotions. How cool is it to see her going out there and gaining the respect in the business?
It's so awesome. First off, I'm really proud of her. So like whenever anybody is impressed with her, then because we're so close, that makes me very proud too. You know what I mean? And I share that energy. And also, she works so hard at wrestling. Like, she's got so much more energy than I do. Like, sometimes she'll train like 5 days a week in the ring, and that includes also going to the gym and lifting weights for 2 hours a day. And then she'll still have energy sometimes to do a show on the weekends or whatever. And that's impressive, but it also makes it very obvious that she's disciplined, determined, and is willing, to really like fight for what she wants. So that's impressive on its own. That takes a lot. Maybe I had that energy when I was 20. I don't now, and I don't even want anything that bad, except Katie.
Oh, thank you, baby.
All right, Rob. This actually comes straight from the Blue Meanie himself. Brian says, hey, Rob, can you tell the story about the time you and Sabu were booked to wrestle the Eliminators and the four of you had to improvise because the ring kept breaking throughout the whole show?
So, honestly, I don't remember that. But that has happened, throughout my career a few times. I don't remember the match with the Eliminators, and I was trained, to improvise. I mean, fans like to call wrestling scripted, and to me, I always laugh because I've never been handed a wrestling script, ever. And it just makes me laugh because that's why I said earlier, fans think they understand it now, but you can't understand it unless you're doing it. You can't understand the competition of wanting to get ahead of the other guys, wanting to be the one that stands out. When I hear a wrestler do an interview and they say, well, if it's funny, then why is my elbow swollen? Because you fucked up. That don't make it. That doesn't make the shit real. You fucked up. If I'm watching a Broadway play and someone slips, am I like, oh my God, this whole play's real? Holy fuck, no, that's so stupid. But most wrestlers go there because, like I said before with the Sheik, they don't even believe what the fuck they're doing. But it's so competitive because, you know what? I want to be the one making the money, not you. I want the fans to be cheering for me, not you. You know what I mean? I want to have the best match I can with you. I want to do my best to get you over as well. But in the long run, dude, everybody wants to be at the top. And anyone will take anyone else's position as soon as they fall out. I had somebody at a Comic-Con describe this. I love the way they described it. It was Shad from Crime Time or whatever. Yeah. He explained the level of competition specifically in WWE like this. He said it's like you're running a race and you're running as fast as you can and you're passing people and you keep going and you keep going and you're giving it what you have and you pass people, but the race never fucking stops. There's no finish line ever. That's the way he described it, and I was like, that's a great way to try to explain it so people on the outside could understand it. That's the shit that makes it real, besides the fact that we really are throwing each other and taking the bumps and all that shit, too. I don't remember what the question was, but I hope I answered it.
Rob, you've had so many championships throughout your career. Is there one that holds truer to you than another one?
Yeah. I got to take a couple of different perspectives on that. The belt, by the way, that's a, you guys know. You're not allowed to call it a belt in WWE.
Hold your pants up.
Disrespectful. But the championship that was the most fun of my career was the ECW Television Championship. Yeah. But like in my mind, like I was so competitive, I think that I really did believe that I was the best. And I was like, bring in anybody from Mexico, Japan, other companies. I'm going to have the best match consistently, whether it's Spike Dudley, Little Guido, or One Man Gang and Bam Bam Bigelow or whatever. And I was like coming into my own there, obviously, learning to be what I am now. And that was the most fun. And so the whole you know, the whole thought that while I was there, I was making the TV championship mean as much as the heavyweight championship. You know, that was awesome. And my goal every night was to have the best match regardless of what else happened on the show. And I was doing it. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm the whole fucking show. And everyone was like, yeah, you are. You know? And so that was the most fun. Obviously, winning the WWE Championship is my crowning moment. I was there. Yeah, you were there, Hammerstein Ballroom? Dude, yeah. And that's my crowning moment because, yes, I go down in history as one of the WWE champions, but also there was so much on the line for that match because I was fighting for the spirit that myself and many of my peers and obviously many of the fans never let go of. And that's what that whole match was about, was like, hey, the shit you're shoving down our throat or the shit we want to see. And that's why that match was so special. And moving forward, adding a third brand to WWE, me, out of my idea, I mean, that's a major accomplishment. So thinking of all that, as far as, you know, wanting to go down an OG is changing history, that's my crowning moment.
Awesome. And
Mike awesome.
So, Rob, speaking of ECW, ECW garnered a cult-like following because it provided an alternative to the mainstream product, and it also it felt like fans were respected and their intelligence was not insulted. What do you think of the current state of pro wrestling scene, especially the indie scene?
I'm trying to relate the question to everything, the build-up to the question. What do I think about the indie scene as far as the way the fans are respected, maybe? Or,
Yes, yeah. It almost feels like as if with a lot of the current product that's out there, the mainstream product, that the intelligence of the average viewer is insulted. So
I'm insulted when, I get, because I don't have the level of competition in my head anymore, I'm able to see everything different because I got one foot in the door in the exit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to retire, except people keep throwing money at me. The more I talk about retiring, the more my value goes up. I'm going with the flow. I don't know how long I'll be doing this. But I, as in old school mentality, I'm going to make up a word there, an old school mentality wrestler, I'm always a fan. Like, I'm watching stuff and I'm like, oh my God, like what the hell? This would never work before. Okay, I'm picking you up in a full Nelson. I want you to wrap your legs around me and then pretend you're stuck. There's so many moves that the guy that's taking the move is the guy giving the move. Sometimes I don't know who it's supposed to hurt, and that's what I'm talking about. That's where it's different. That's where they're like, hey, let's do shit that we could do if we were working together. And that's because they're entertaining the crowd that believes that's what they're getting and that's what they're there to see. So from that respect, yeah, they're giving the crowd at least enough direction, if not too much, I believe. And yeah, ECW probably changed that a lot, because like they were the first ones. Like, I started January 96, I started with ECW. It was intimidating to me because it was so hardcore. That whole part of the country was so hardcore. Philly and New York. It really is so different. I came from Savannah, Georgia up there. It was so different. And fuck, I lost my train of thought again. What was I saying, baby? I don't know.
Savannah.
We're strange in the Northeast.
Yes. But anyway, so when I went up there, I remember that it was like, I was intimidated. Like, I was like, oh my God, I have to adjust. The crowd was the most opinionated crowd ever. Like, they're waiting for you to slip, to miss something, to bump into each other, so I go, you fucked up. That pressure is what molded me into being the perfectionist that I was. So I'm so glad that I learned to put it together in front of that crowd, and that I was extreme enough, to champion all of their values and stuff. So I think that here's what I was gonna say. You guys ready? I was gonna say this. The internet was fucking new. I mean, it was like I don't even know if we had it in '96, did we? But there was Dave Meltzer's Observer. That was it. That was the only thing we got that told us about what was going on in other wrestling companies and stuff like that. And I remember when I first was in ECW that I lost my train of thought again. I had it. Never mind. It's the Van Dam drink. What was I gonna say?
Remember, you can get that Van Dam drink for $8 and the Forbesinator for $6.
I got it. Here's what I was gonna say. Okay, before that, any like in the WWE, for instance, if there was a wrestler that appeared, they would wipe out his complete past. You know what I mean? Steve Kern trained almost every fucking wrestler for a generation, and then they call him Skinner, and now all of a sudden he lives in the swamp, he's a new character. That's what they were about. That's what I was afraid they were going to do with me too, by the way, when I eventually went there, and I was so glad they didn't. But as far as giving the fans the respect that in ECW, maybe starting that, when something in real life would happen, they would capitalize on it. Whether it was an injury in the ring, and they'd be like, oh, dude fucked up his tibia, or whether it was like an assault and battery at home, like the police were called or whatever, and they would not only like tell the fans that share it, but they would capitalize on it and turn it into a part of an angle, and it made it so much more real. And so I think ECW pioneered that for sure. And I think that changed everything in a way that, fans now today are given way more respect than when I was a kid.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Katie, how do you feel about Rob now going into the ring, knowing his history of concussions? And are concussions something that you worry about yourself? Because now, you're taking some bumps, and it's something we've all learned. Back when I was training, I know I did some stupid shit that I fucked myself up a lot, and I'm starting to pay for it myself. And at 44, starting to forget just basic simple things.
Old as fuck.
Yeah, old as fuck. Exactly.
Since we've been dating, I feel like I've done less like high flying and high risk moves. Seeing the long-term damage that could happen, or if y'all see Headstrong, then y'all know like what Rob went through. So at that time, then I was nervous about him being in the ring, but now things are good, so I don't worry about it. But just for my own career, then I just try to keep my feet on the ground more.
Yeah. And does that style, because you did train with Luke?
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically grounded in a style that is more of a realistic fight situation.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself like, is it almost kind of like, this is great because I can transfer what I learned into now a style which, is going to be safer and hopefully give you a little bit more longevity? Mm-hmm. And is it something that you like now are able to think about and go, man, I'm glad I got training with Wildcat?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Question for both of you guys. What kind of music do you like to listen to when you're getting in the mood in the
mood?
Yeah, in the mood for training.
What the hell's going on?
We like rap.
Training.
I'm the musical one out of the two of us. He didn't know about music before me, and now
Really?
he likes what I like, hip hop and rap.
Oh, there it is.
That's so true. Like I'm one of a kind in many, many ways, and the more I study people, I realize that I have a lot of different values than normal people, and one of them is that I see. I feel like I don't subscribe to music the way that everybody else does. Sometimes I listen to it and I get energy out of it. If it's reggae, it reminds me of being in Jamaica. It makes me happy. If it's like techno, it reminds me of being here in Vegas at the big clubs. But I don't. I never like want to go to a concert or buy music, and it's something that I've always been amazed at how much my fellow human beings are like, they live their life by it. You wake up to music, a musical alarm on your phone or whatever. You listen to music while you're getting ready, music in the car. Even if it's a non-musical event like wrestling, there's going to be music for the opening, music for the walk down to the ring, music. I feel like, how much is that distracting my subconscious and keeping me from what I could be? And that's one way that I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, I think it makes every situation and mood better to have music in the background. So now at our house, we always have music.
Especially with cleaning.
I like listening to music that Katie likes listening to because, it makes me happy because she's happy and that makes me happy, But I used to do this blog talk radio show like way back before anybody had podcasts, I think. And one time I talked about this, and one of my friends was from Cottonmouth King, Pacalico. Yeah, and I was asking him, like, why is it that humans like want music like all day long to guide them through everything? And he said something that was really interesting. He said, because we're born with a rhythm and it's in our heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so like when we hear it, it's natural. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so awesome. Like I never thought about that. Yeah.
And that brings kind of around too, where you're saying that you don't usually do music, because in some ways we have a symphony going on in our head as it is. And the more clarity you have, the easier it is to kind of just relax and feel your own rhythm.
I want to think about other thoughts besides lyrics to a stupid song. Yeah, that's how I feel. Hey, but I got a question for you guys. How would you feel about RVD taking a potty break?
Of course.
Yeah. Always be up for that.
Are you cool staying here, or do you want to go with me? She wants to go too. Can you guys handle the show while we're gone for 5?
We sure
We
can.
can definitely do that.
Don't leave. We'll be right back. This isn't an intermission. Don't go anywhere. They're going to still be as entertaining as they can.
This is Ironheart Douglas James, and I'm a Santino Bros Wrestling alumni. And on August 17th, we are putting on Put Up or Shut Up. And every time I go out there, I show out, show up, and I put up or shut up. So check out the show on August 17th in Southgate, California.
Well, hey everybody, this is Darwin Finch, just reminding you here to catch Wrestling Pro Wrestling at the Burbank Moose Lodge every third Friday of every month.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Simon Street with the Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting. Here to let everybody know it has just been announced that FSW and Impact Wrestling will be holding another tryout on Wednesday, September 4th. This is just 2 days prior to the Impact tapings on September 5th and 6th. Again, FSW and Impact Wrestling will be holding tryouts on September 4th. That's a Wednesday, y'all. Get out there, show them what you got, and you never know. Anything could happen.
Live from Boulder Station inside the Kicks Lounge, Vegas BadBoyz presents special guest Katie Forbes and RVD.
Hey, Rob, you just returned Monday night.
Saw
from
that?
Years away.
Saw
right?
that?
Do you have a favorite moment from being Mr. Monday Night?
Well, what comes to mind is the whole origin of the Mr. Monday Night moniker. It was a great time because here I was in ECW thinking of quitting and going to WCW in 1997 because, one, Paul Heyman made me feel disrespected by not having me on their first pay-per-view. Sabu was filling my head saying, dude, we're the best in the whole company. And I'm like, well, if we're the best, what? How come I'm not even on it? And also Eric Bischoff, who was running WCW, offered me a job. And it was a detailed offer. So it was something that I was definitely considering. I knew that I liked ECW better. I knew that I fit in that style better, but business is business. So I was at a crossroads, and then Paul said, everyone thinks you're going to WCW because, they've read it on the internet. Why wouldn't you be going? And he was like, is there anything I can do to make you stay? And so that talk led, some negotiating, some more money for RVD, better contract, and some appearances on Monday Night Raw. And so that's where the moniker Mr. Monday Night came in. Was it not when Jerry Lawler called me it? Fuck that. But on that pay-per-view, when I said, I belong on a Monday night, where the big superstars are. And anyway, so that whole time period was so cool for me because I had the spotlight on me. Like, out of the whole industry, I was in WWF, and they thought I was an outsider because I represented ECW. And then in ECW, I was an outsider because I represented WWE. Like, they totally thought I was a contracted WWE wrestler. One fan even sued WWE because he thought that. Somebody that had an altercation with, allegedly, in the crowd. But during that time, man, I was jumping fences. And that's what I love, jumping fences. I love it. That's what I did Monday night, right? It's like, you don't expect that. That can't happen. I love doing that, going into other areas where other people could see me and breaking the rules. So my memories of Mr. Monday Night, like, that's what it was all about. I wrestled for Jim Cornette's promotion, USWA, a bunch of shit at that time as Mr. Monday Night, representing, saying, hey, I'll go anywhere and kick anybody's ass in any group. And that was very fun. I enjoyed the fuck out of that.
So, kind of speaking with Monday Night, you got a chance to let everybody know previously who Mr. Monday Night was. Was there anybody in particular, that whole experience, that came back there, some of the current talent that came up to you and really wanted to garner some advice from you?
This story comes to mind. It's not advice. Not sure if it answers your question, but it is some feedback from a wrestler, and hopefully you'll enjoy this as much as I did. I've always, by the way, been a fan of Owen Hart's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like when I was an older teenager, already on my path, knowing I wanted to be a wrestler. When he was Blue Blazer, that was one of my inspirations because he's the first guy that I'd ever seen drop to his hamstrings on the top rope, do a backflip, hip toss the guy or whatever. I was like, whoa, thinking outside the box. I love it. Leaping Lanny Poffo, Brady Boone. Yep. Yeah, these guys. Brady Boone was Firecat for a while in WWE. Not a big star, so people might not remember him. He stuck out to me, and by the way, he's the one that got me my hookup with All Japan. So I'll always be grateful for him. Yeah, he just said, dude, I really think they would love you in Japan, and he hooked it up when I was 22. 21. Shit. Anyway, thank you, Brady Boone. And he was the first guy I'd seen jump up on someone's shoulders, then roll them up into a victory roll, and that's what drew me in. Yeah. All the big guys, that would like barely pick their feet up off the mat. I enjoyed the matches and the storylines as much as anyone else. But as far as like really being entertained, it was Leaping Lanny doing flying head scissors. Nobody else was even doing that. And so, anyway, after my debut at Monday Night Raw during that invasion angle, when I wrestled Jeff Hardy, and he was just a kid, a Bon Jovi kid or whatever. Yeah. After the match, when I was in the dressing room and I'm taking my boots off, I kind of marked out because Owen Hart came up and said, man, I like Rob being here. I watched his match. I got 5 new moves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there anybody that, the main talent that's on WWE right now that kind of sticks out to you in your mind like, wow, that's pretty cool?
Oh, a lot of them. And you say in WWE, I mean, like Ricochet, dude, he's a gymnast.
He's amazing.
And you know I wrestle for Impact, right?
Yeah.
By the way. If you don't mind, I'd like to plug them a little bit. They're the ones giving me money right now.
Right.
But I mean, they're amazing. There's so many guys there. It's Rick Swan. Holy shit!
Oh,
I
yeah.
watch that guy.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Even Willie Mack. Like
Yes.
all these guys. Like
Willie Mack's awesome.
so many. The Rascals.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
So, Rob, when
let me just say they took the RVD perspective of thinking outside the box, and they've taken it to a whole new level. And
Yeah.
they really have. I don't feel like I need to compete with that level. I feel like when you let the fans speak for themselves and you mesh up the new shit against the legend, I think RVD always wins. And that's basically what I got right now, because you ain't about to see me do a split-legged 3-flip moonsault.
But the question is, with the Rascals, are we going to see you bop in to the Rascals Lounge and
Tune into next week, bro.
Hey,
We've already. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but we've already filmed it.
Nice.
My last taping, we filmed that. And what was cool is that the whole concept behind that was that RVD's like the Chuck Norris of marijuana. And it was so great that I did that on like I don't know what day. I guess on a Saturday, and then on Monday they're doing the same thing with Raw. You know, with the what are those guys' names? The city guys.
Street Profits.
Street
Yeah,
Profits.
Street Profits,
Thank you,
yeah.
baby. See, she knows wrestling.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool, you know, to cement me in there for all the effort I put in, and keeping my identity consistent.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What do you think about guys like Trey and Dez? Because what I love about Impact is not only do they have the talent, but they allow the talent to do independent promotions. And you get to see in a small 80-seat arena these guys working. I mean, is that something, I mean, Katie, too, you know, do you feel that it gives the fans a chance to see someone like you work with someone like Ataya, you know, 50 people there? It's just spectacular that Impact allows it. Is that something that, you know, you see the talent in these people and you develop relationships, and hopefully, you know, with Rob being in Impact, maybe we'll see Katie in Impact soon?
I hope so. Yeah, I'm one of several people that are pushing for it. You know, Tommy Dreamer pushes for it. She's had they've looked at her, you know, a couple times, and have talked about trying to fit her in and stuff. You know, I also think that, you know, to be realistic, like Katie is still coming along. You know,
Right.
She is still getting better and better, and so I'm always trying to remind her that the girls that are working, that have the limited spots on TV right now, are fucking busting ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they not just the girls, the guys too. Like when I was in WWE in 2001, 2002, there was still room for some talent that maybe wasn't that good that would get pushed. Some were really big muscle guys, and they would say, okay, let's push him, let's have him beat all the other guys,
Right.
regardless of, you know, what's right, or, you know, they weren't looking at it that way. They thought it was right at the time, and then they would get rid of the guy,
Right.
and then we would feel like, well, okay, now what? Now we got to pick ourselves up off the ground. You had us getting beat by this guy that clearly sucks balls.
Yeah.
All the fans know it. It didn't work. You got rid of him. There was still room for that. Now, dude, there's not room for that. There's
Yeah.
not one person that you can look at on TV and say, like, oh, that guy's the total shits.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not the total shit.
Not at all.
Huh? No, you're not, what'd you say, baby?
I'm not the total shit.
No, of course. No, I moved on past you to make a point
Yeah.
of just the standards. No, I'm a big fan of Katie's, and she's awesome. But every match she's still learning
Yeah.
a lot more. Like like every match, she'll work on like every little thing, you know, every little flaw or whatever, and get it better. I'm just saying that like the level of competition is so up. I would like to see her like really ready when she's in the spotlight.
Right, so that you don't get shit on by fans.
Right.
You know, you're ready to go.
And the business, not just the
business,
fans,
true.
but the whole industry.
Sure.
I mean, I know enough about it
Yeah.
to where I know what I'm talking about, you know. And she's very good, very, very talented. And she has a lot of different options on what she could do with that, which way she could go with that. But yeah, as far as like, I would love to see her on Impact. You know, I bring her with me sometimes because it's way better for me when she's on the road with me.
Yeah.
But I also am like super impressed with all the wrestlers in Impact and how comfortable they are with their art, given that freedom that you're talking about to express themselves. And sometimes, you know, like even here, you know, she's not as comfortable expressing herself as she will be.
Right. Yeah. And that's why we do this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Because it's the experience, and that's, you know, I mean, for God's sakes, until you've done something for years and years and years, you know.
She couldn't believe when I told her that coming up, it was this was the rule of the business, and I don't know if it's changed. I wouldn't be surprised. It probably has changed, but it's always been 5 years till you're not green anymore, 10 years till you're a veteran. Now, when I returned to WWE and made the return in 2013, 2014, I was working with these guys. I'm looking you know, I'm getting my ass beat by the Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. What do they call themselves?
The Shield, yeah.
Yeah, so they were the biggest thing going on there, you know. And one time I'm in their hotel room with them. Somebody was smoking. I'm not saying who. Talking to those guys, and Roman's like, "Yeah, I've been in the business 4 years." I'm like, "What? Holy shit!" Because I remember Steve Kern specifically telling me years ago that the average guy in WWF, when he was there, is Skinner. He said the average guy had 10 years in the business. Yeah. And it's so different. It's like you're learning on the job now, but they want to put younger faces out there, I guess, and there's a lot of factors going into the decisions. But as an old school wrestler coming up the way that I did, I'm like, holy shit, all these guys are green that you're putting on TV, but also they're very advanced.
Right.
Yeah.
NXT is, you know, when they started with, you know, the Florida territory. And again, I guess the best thing is the old school that you refer to, they kind of got that taste of it from Dusty. So, you know, it was the thing where you put in 3-4 years down there, and then you were now moved up to TV, and you didn't have the polish yet, but you had a little bit of that wisdom and experience, and then, you know, it's a different game now.
Totally. Everything needs to evolve. When I was a kid, it was cool to do a wheelie on my bike. Thank God that's it. I mean, the shit they're doing now was in comic books. When I got into Ghost Rider, the character Johnny Blaze was a motorcycle stuntman, and the stuff that was in the comic books wasn't even done yet. I mean, he was riding his motorcycle on a tightrope, doing a handstand on the handlebars, and we were like, whoa, can you imagine? Everyone's blown that the fuck away. And so I realized the need for evolution. I consider myself a progressive thinker in general when it comes to life and morals and values and just, you know, moving ahead as opposed to moving backwards. And so that's cool. I don't think that I'm going to change my wrestling values because I'm not looking to really stick in the business, and I'm definitely not looking to adapt. You know what I mean? I'm the whole fucking show.
Damn right. All right, so Rob, let's talk a little bit about the Raw reunion show. When did you get the call about it, and who called you?
Paul Heyman called me. Maybe 1 week, 6 days, or 1 week before the event, and you know, asked if I was available, and said, you know, we're having a show where a lot of legends were on, and I said, all right, cool, and it worked out from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you know what, real quick, I've noticed a lot of people wanted to know, we're talking about the whole fucking couple, right? But let's talk about and really get into some questions about y'all as a couple, because y'all beautiful. I'm seeing y'all support each other. I'm seeing Katie just rubbing your hand and whatnot. That's beautiful. Y'all giving kisses. I mean, it's the season of cupcaking and hand holding right here, everybody. I'm telling you, this is brilliant. So what I want to do is get into some questions. Y'all want to hear some questions about Katie and Rob Van Dam? So we're going to get into some questions about Katie and Rob Van Dam, okay? So my first question is, you know, what is it like being on the road? When, like you were saying earlier, when you're doing your impact work, you love to have Katie next to you. I can see why. Trust me. What are the things that y'all like to do? Do y'all like to stop by and go to like restaurants? What do y'all do? Explain to us.
Okay. So like, first off, I'd always rather have her with me than be without her. Mm-hmm. Like, we get along that well. She's my best friend ever. She's my favorite person I've ever met. Like, we click so much, and life is so awesome with her. And that was apparent, like, really early on, like, when we first started, like, being around each other. So that was a huge difference in life. I just recently got out of a long-term marriage, and I would have stayed out of loyalty. I would have stayed complacent, and I didn't realize how complacent I was till I realized how happy I am now. But I was totally with the wrong person, and that happens. A lot of people are with the wrong shit. There's what do you call it when you set up a marriage for somebody? Arranged marriages. Yeah, I mean, that happens in the world where people get together and make the most of it. I feel like that's what I was trying to do, was make the most of it before, and it was all the ex-wife's decision to split, and I fought it. I thought of it as a failure, but after a little while, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like, my life is a million times better. Oh my God. So much better, yeah, and I'm just we're both happy all the time, and we both just want to lift each other up, you know. Like, when she's happy, that makes me happy. It's amazing to have these feelings that let's see, 46, because we met in 2016, so I was 45. Yeah. It's amazing to me that at 45 I'd never had these feelings before, you know, like I never knew what it was like to have a partner that didn't want to change everything about me, but actually really respected everything about me that I respected. So I wish that on everybody. I have a lot of friends who, like, as soon as they're talking about how insecure their wives are about them, you know, being out or looking at other girls or whatever, and it's like, oh my God, bro, I don't think that's going to get better, but what can I say about it? He says, I've been there. I've been there, but yeah, so Katie's a dream, and being on the road is one of the many things that we have in common. Like, I never thought before that I would want to seriously date somebody in the entertainment industry, because I know how it works. You're apart, and I know that all the guys are like trying to bang all the good-looking girls, you know. And I've been in business forever, and so I always have these preset notions that, like, yeah, that's probably not for me. But man, when it worked out, I realized that not only is that not an issue at all, but all the pros, what we have in common, our life goals, what throughout the day, like what's important to us, you know, traveling, of course, being seen by the public, and our time being shared with people wanting to take photos or whatever. We have so much in common. Like, everything has been like so fucking smooth that I realized, dude, when you're the whole fucking show, you can't be with no basic bitch.
That is awesome. So obviously you guys have a great thing going right now. What would you say is the key to a successful relationship? For those people that maybe haven't found something similar to what you guys have right now, what's the best piece of advice that you could give?
I want to hear you say.
I say be nice. Be nice to somebody and try to make their day good. And then what you put into it is like what you get back to, like a garden, a love.
I'll break it down a little bit further, because I think that each individual has to be a whole person in order for the two of you to really be strong together. And some of the values that I respect about myself, my ex didn't give a fuck about. I'm the most honest person I know.
Yeah.
I don't lie. I'll tell jokes. If I'm fucking with you, I might, and then tell you the truth. But I pride myself on being genuine, being honest, and I want Katie to know the real me. Maybe that was part of what went south in the marriage, because I was so honest. Like, I don't want this bitch thinking she's with someone else. I want her to know how I really feel about life. If that don't work out, it don't work out. And Katie, like, right off the bat, like, she believed me. She knew that I was honest, that I was genuine, that I was loyal. And not only did she recognize all this and give me credit for it, but she respected it as much as I do. And so I think, if people ask me, like, hey, dude, how can I get a Katie Forbes? Well, I don't know if I can get you a Katie Forbes, but I can tell you, girls don't like being lied to and cheated on and fucking, like being, yeah. I mean, it's so, dude, it's so ridiculous. All of my friends, dude, I can't tell you how many of my peers have a wife at home that doesn't even know their husband. They're home for 30 years taking care of kids, and their husband's out fucking every stripper, every whore, doing all kinds of drugs that their wife doesn't even know about. And I knew I was getting into that kind of business. I was warned that when I was young, but I didn't let myself become that, at least not at this age. I might have, skated around and had fun, but not during my marriage, by the way. Like I said, I stayed towards that. I'm just saying that I love the entertainment industry, and I love being out and experiencing the benefits we get. People rolling out the red carpet for us and all that stuff. But for me, the person that you're closest to, I don't want it to be the fucking boys. Fuck those assholes. I'd rather have it be the person I'm spending my life with.
Yeah. Put your lady first.
She can ask me anything, anytime, and she does a lot of times, and she knows I'm going to give her she could say, like, what does that mean? In the middle, and I'll tell her exactly what I meant by it. Oh, I just meant I was thinking this or that or that. She's like, oh, okay. But I really want her to know the real me, because I feel like it's like if you get someone to sacrifice their whole fucking life for you, and to stay at home sharing this alleged dream, but then you're out chasing a complete different dream with inconsistent with every value that you have with your so-called partner, and there's a million people that are closer to you than your own wife. Dude, that is the recipe for a lonely, miserable life. I've seen it enough. Yeah. And so I'm so thankful and so grateful to have the opposite, which is an honest, fucking super loving relationship with an amazing girl that happens to be one of the hottest girls on the planet.
Hashtag relationship goals for y'all.
Yes.
Hey guys, this is Cutthroat Cody, just giving you a heads up and letting you know that August 17th at Sam's Town Live is Future Stars of Wrestling's event Survival of the Fittest. It's an opportunity for you to come down and support Future Stars of Wrestling as well as myself and JAY as we step into a multi-team elimination match. One night a year that we do this event, so come down and support.
This is Brian Alvarez, and you are listening to the Vegas BadBoyz podcast. Yo, this is Luke Hawks. And this is PJ Hawks. And we're Hawks Airy, and you're listening to the Vegas BadBoyz.
This is Johnny Fairplay, reality TV icon and Survivor Hall of Famer. And you're listening to the Sin City Bad Guys. Something, did I totally butcher that? If I did, I wouldn't lie about that.
Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting. Live from Boulder Station inside the Kicks Lounge, Vegas BadBoyz presents special guest Katie Forbes and RVD. And with that, it is game show time.
All right, guys, we're going to do a little thing called Knowing Me, Knowing You. It's a direct rip-off of the Newlywed Game. So we, before we started to ask them both 3 questions each, and we're going to see how well they know each other's answers. I'm going to start with Katie. I'm going to ask you Rob's answers here. So I'm going to give you a question. You'll answer it, and then Rob will show everyone his answer.
I have the hiccups.
Oh wait, does she have? She has different questions than
Yeah.
I do. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, so here we go. With the hiccups
Hey,
and
is
everything.
that me? Is that Ray about to do the? No, it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not the same match. Never mind.
No.
Oh, it's Monday. Never mind. Fuck. It's Monday. We're watching wrestling. Is Ray every week on there now?
Yeah.
When he's not hurt.
Dude, I thought he was a legend. Okay.
All right, so we're going to ask Katie your first question here. Okay, so I asked Rob, if Katie was to wear one item of your clothing, what would it be?
His underwear.
Rob, turnover card A there, right on top. There we go.
They're so comfortable.
Are they boxers or briefs?
They're the long kind of shorts, like the short.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I guess those are briefs.
Boxer briefs.
Yeah.
Awesome. The second question, I asked Rob if Katie's cooking.
Whoa, is everybody okay? Is everyone all right?
If Katie's cooking is the only food you are allowed to eat for the rest of your life, would you A, be a happy and healthy man, B, ask your mother to teach Katie how to cook, or C, make sure your health insurance is paid up?
The only thing I think I've ever made us is breakfast and edibles, so probably he'll go with my diet of A.
All right, Rob, show us your answer. Oh, he said he'd ask his mother how to teach you to
That's
cook.
true. Yeah, she cooks good egg salad and meatloaf. Yeah.
All right, so we got one more. I asked Rob if Katie were no longer...
Uh-oh. This is the one I'm scared about.
It's a traditional Newlywed question. If Katie were no longer on this earth, which friend of hers would Rob date?
Give this some thought, baby.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Wow, I wish I could have a hit. Okay. That's so hard.
That's why I said I felt a lot better about these questions before I answered them.
Can you give me a hint?
Give her a hint.
Can I give her a hint?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Is this one that's past my friend or someone currently my friend?
Oh, very good question.
Current.
How often do I see this person?
Not often at all.
Okay, I say Stephanie.
Jennifer.
That was my second. That was my second guess.
All right, so now we're going to flip the tables. We're going to do a little different questions.
We got
here.
1 out of 3, baby.
Hey. Well, technically 1.5. Jennifer was her second, so 1.5.
True,
Yeah.
Stephanie was my second.
Okay,
There we go. So we got 2.
My second guess as far as what she would say.
All right.
Because we were with Jennifer and you're like, hey, do you miss her? The next day I was like, yeah, we miss her. Whatever. I'm just trying to explain that I'm right.
No, I see it. All my friends are beautiful.
True. She got so many
Yeah.
hot friends. I just went with something, that I thought she would get. But go ahead. I'm going to get all three of these and make up for it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So, Rob, I asked Katie, what is the most embarrassing song on your playlist?
Tabata. It's the only thing. I have one song on my playlist. It's Tabata, which is workout music that you listen to. It's a workout program. It's the only thing on my playlist. So if I didn't have that right, then I don't even know what to say.
Well, I'm going to give you this one because she answered he's not into music.
Okay.
So that counts. That definitely counts.
I'll take it.
All right, the next question was, what is Rob's most irritating habit? That's not irritating.
I'm going to have to guess that it probably has something to do with time management and being late.
Time management, being late. What do you got?
Missing flights.
Missing flights. That counts. That's it.
Okay.
When being late is expensive.
Now, the final question was, what is the craziest thing you've ever seen Rob do?
Okay, let's see. She's seen a couple of crazy things. Maybe when I threw that guy on the table in England.
Katie, show us your answer.
Keep going.
Sure. Yeah.
How did you throw him on the table?
I bumped his ass with my ass so that he flew over this glass table, knocked all the drinks over because he was being like such an asshole. And that was a pretty crazy night. It led to some other details, but
Which leads to the oh shit moment.
Oh,
well, the whole story. I don't know if you want to hear the rest of it. It's an interesting story, right? All right.
Wait, they gotta see the answer first.
Oh,
yeah, show the answer first.
Knock someone over with a twerk.
Yep, knock someone over with a twerk.
So it was.
Was that
3
like
for
a
3.
Hey, I got 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Told you. I threw him down the stairs afterwards, but I guess the twerk was crazier.
Yeah, that's our oh shit moment. It was time for it. Yeah, well, the oh shit moment was we were doing we were in a section like in a club in the UK, and he was taking photos with fans, and then this guy wanted to bully us out of the area, so he's starts twerking and dancing on Rob, trying to be stupid.
Can I get some details?
Okay,
so I was wrestling for a company called 5 Star Wrestling, which started up last year, and they only lasted 5 weeks and closed down, unfortunately. But they had a lot of money. They had a lot of us over there, and we were going to do every Thursday for I think 30 weeks in a row. Wow. I was teaming up with Rey Mysterio. It was so fun. Yeah, it was so fun, and I was every week in those first 4 weeks they got better and better. The crowd got better. Their production got better. So I was hoping it would really work out, but. I was on a promotional day there. They set up some promotional night. They wanted me to go to some nightclub, and hang out, try to get, brand awareness. The club they chose was lame. I said, dude, come with me, because Katie and I were out the night before and had a blast. So we went to this club, and we went to this table that was elevated up, where we were hanging out the night before, and it was empty tonight except for 2 people, one girl and one dude, and the girl was so possessive of that table. So you can't be here. This is my birthday party.
Oh no, birthday party.
Yeah. And so and I was okay, whatever. And we ignored her. And she kept saying, no, I have this reserved. And security came up, and I was okay, when they tell me to leave, I'll leave. They came up, and they were just hey, good to see you again, bro. And so I hung out there, And then fans would come up and they wanted to take pictures, and the girl would like hold her poster that said her social media name or whatever. You probably remember it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Like Olivia Hudson.
Olivia Hudson. It was her birthday, and so like fans would try to take pictures of me, and she would try and block the pictures with her shit. She was being annoying, but I was like, look. I told her, I was like, look, we're just going to stand here and drink. When your friends come and show up for your party, we'll leave. She's like, no, you can't be here. I was like, all right, when security says I got to leave, I'll leave. No. I was like, all right, whatever. And we're ignoring them. And her friend, this little gay dude, well, he was. I'm just describing him. He was like, he was trying to be the man and defend her. But we really were not doing anything. We're just standing there drinking. Instead of being out on the crowded dance floor, we're on the elevated platform, just standing there. Nobody else was there, these two people. So Katie and I are on the other side of this glass table, a low glass table. It's like 2 feet off the ground or something, you know? And we're on one side, they're on the other side, and they're dancing and having fun and shit. And we're like, whatever, drinking. And all of a sudden, the little gay dude comes over around the table, and he's trying to bully me away by taking up my space dancing. It was so fun. He's dancing up like with his back to me. You know, like just dancing and shit. And like making it obvious, you know, like, hey, they don't want us there or whatever. And I was drinking. I was like, should I? And so I took a drink, and out of nowhere, I just act like and I don't even dance, but I'm like, boom, and I shoved my ass out so hard as if I was dancing, and it launched him like across the table, and he slid across the table, and all these drinks, everything poured all over him, and I turned around, and the guy was looking at me like, so I looked at him like that, I was like, and then he was like, ugh. And he grabbed a glass and he went, ugh. And he went to like throw a drink at me. And I blocked it, but some of it still got on me, you know? So I just grabbed him and I just like, whoom. And I just like shoved him, and he, you know, there was like stairs there. So he went, you know, he went down, and security grabbed him and shit. And then they came up to me right away, security, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get kicked out right here. And security's like, hey, we saw everything, Rob. You're cool. I was like, all right, thanks, dude. Thanks, man. And then I turn around, and then Katie is dealing with the girl, and she's going, what? Boom, boom, boom. And she's punching the girl, and I grabbed Katie. I'm like, whoa, we can't do that. And then she like got away from me and went bam, 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 back to her. And I grabbed Katie. I go, okay, all right, let's get our coats. Security comes back up. They go, dude, you can't be punching people. I said, I know, we're out of here. And, you know, we just got our coats and left, and we went like 3 places, 3 doors down, and had a fucking blast. The whole party moved. It was good.
Well, I just want to say that is by far top shelf. Oh shit! So much. I will say this. Everybody, say it with me. Holy shit!
Dude, you want to know if your partner's got your back? I never have to question that. She got my back.
All right, guys, we got a segment called Lucky Sevens. What I want you to do, and we'll start with Katie, is pick one number between 1 and 7. And then I've got a question for you based on that number. So, Katie, what number do you choose?
3.
3. How did you come up with your finisher? Why did you give it the name that it has? And who was the first person to take that finisher?
I picked 2.
If you could recast any movie and put yourself in that role, what would it be and why?
What do you mean? Friday?
Oh. Yeah.
And then who would you be?
No.
That shit always had to go by.
Oh, she'd be crack, man. Should be Craig. Should be the lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll go with that one.
All right. Rob, I got it for you. 1 through 7. What number are you picking?
2, and it's this video on Pornhub I was watching. the other day.
All right.
I don't know the character's name.
Excluding questions 2 or 3, pick another number.
6.
6. What was the first concert you went to? And where was it?
Cardi B.
Cardi B.
But you know what? I was in band in high school, so we used to have to do concerts and shit. You know, so it was like half the year was symphony, I think they called it that, and then half the year was like marching band. Growing up in Michigan, and I played the drums, and so those were definitely my first concerts.
But he does love Cardi B.
He does love Cardi B.
We just went on the Cardi B cruise, and we saw her in Miami and then in the Bahamas on the cruise ship.
And you might have seen the post on Twitter that's got like 4 million impressions from my hot tub party. I don't know if you've seen it.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw it.
They don't care.
That was fun. It was fun.
You guys have some pretty epic parties yourself.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
What is one of the favorite things that you guys have ever done together?
Whoa.
You may not be able to talk about it on the show.
Shit. Yeah, without thinking about what we can share here, my favorite thing that I've done with her is joining with her to plan an amazing fucking life full of nothing but positivity, getting what we want out of it, helping each other, and avoiding stress. That's my favorite. Yeah. Thanks, baby. Everyone's quiet as if they want you to answer that.
All right, so we're going to get into the audience questions. If any of you have questions for one of the two, this is your chance to come on up to the microphone with Simon Street.
And don't be shy.
Hello, hello. Who do we have here first from the audience, ladies and gentlemen? All right, sir, come on up. The way it works is you come up here and you will state your name and then ask your question.
My name's David. Rob, have been a huge fan of yours. You are awesome, and I mean, Katie, even bigger fan, right? I just wanted to thank you, though, for taking the time to continue to give back to the fans and doing a podcast like you just did right now. I mean, you don't have to go out of your way to do things like this, and I mean, for me as a fan, I continue to enjoy listening to so much positivity that you put out. So just wanted to thank you. Not really a question. So just thank you for what you do every day, man.
Cheers.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else from the audience that'd like to come up and ask?
Can I respond to that?
Sure, you sure can.
No, thank you, David. And I always, I do a lot of interviews and stuff like that. But as far as like sharing my personal experiences, that's something that's like I'm realizing more just really recently. Like since I made the movie Headstrong, like I made this movie. It was supposed to be about a 7-day road trip when I'm doing stand-up comedy. But I showed up, fucked up from a concussion, and I thought it would go away every night. I thought, okay, I'll be fine tomorrow. It's not going to interfere. But the concussion symptoms lasted so long that it became about that. And so I'm learning, like as everyone else is learning, like, whoa, do I got CTE? What the fuck? Am I going to die? Am I cool? And I'm learning like all that. But the movie became so much bigger, and I was really proud of the way the movie turned out. But I had no idea how it was going to affect people. I just thought it was a good movie. People are going to learn a lot more about me. But what I realized when I started getting all the feedback, people were like, they were so appreciative they could relate to me only by me sharing my experiences. I mean, I don't even have to make shit up. I'm just sharing shit that's happened with me, and I'm finding out the more I do that, some people tell me it's literally changing their lives, and so I feel like that's something I really want to put a lot more into. And lately, my interests have gravitated towards talking more about depression, which, you know, it comes from a lot of things. It comes from my field, from concussions, you know, long-term effects of that, but it comes from Alzheimer's, and, you know, it comes from life factors. Like, so many people can relate, and I was surprised, honestly, to find that people didn't know they could relate to me. Like, it's so much, this business is so much about image that people, I think, really believe I can fly because I've been so good at creating that image. But after watching the movie, people say, wow, seeing that you had to go through life's obstacles too, and had to struggle and had to come out ahead, like that alone, which has only been in the last few months, has changed my perspective of my position in life, to where now I just feel like, dude, like, if I can help people just by sharing shit that I've already been through and letting them know that they're not the only ones, dude, I'm fucking all for it. So that's like something new to me, and I appreciate, you know, you telling me how much you appreciate me doing these podcasts.
Thank you.
And just to reiterate too, we are very appreciative of you, Rob, not only doing this tonight, and Katie, thank you so much as well.
Thanks, Katie.
Yes.
Katie!
But also, if you guys haven't listened to the show, catch Rob's episodes that he's done with us, because we talked a lot about concussions and Headstrong, and we went through the movie, and, you know, there was so many great points. But also, we did an episode strictly about depression and mental health, and it's so important. There's so many people out there that struggle with it, and I'm one of those people. And
Same here.
Yeah, so yep, it's very important, and we just are glad to help you get that message out there.
Bro, everybody thinks that they're alone, and I got to tell you, like, I can't tell you like everything right now, but to try to put everything into a couple words, this is something that you will learn if you have watched my documentary Headstrong. But I went through some pretty shitty times in like 2015, 2016. You know, the marriage failed, which I looked at as a failure. Like I said, now I'm glad, but at the time, I didn't want it. I fought it. That happened, so I felt like a loser. I felt also that did a lot to my own sense of security. You know what I mean? If the one person that knows me more than everyone else is the only person that thinks I'm the biggest asshole on the planet, I didn't have much self-worth. And then my dog died, which was my everything, and then my dad died, and like I went through this trifecta, and I got so low that I would be like, look, I know I'm RVD. I'm always going to have opportunities. People love me everywhere. It didn't fucking matter. At that moment, it didn't matter. It was like, so what if I jump off a cliff? Who's going to fucking care? And I think that's where a lot of people can relate. It's hard for you to imagine that a superhero could feel like that, but this is what we're talking about. I got like so low that even though I could tell myself these facts, like I knew in the long run everything was going to be okay, but at that moment my thoughts were so fucked up, and I had such a void of joy in life that I started drinking as soon as I woke up, like every fucking day for a while. And that's actually when I ran into Katie, and she helped like pull me out of that hole. And we cover all that in my documentary. But these are some of the things that I find that have actually helped people just by me sharing. So I'm glad to do that. I'm a human just like everyone else.
So we have another person like to ask you a question. Want to state your name?
Thank you. My name is Harry. Continuing being appreciative. Thank you guys for hosting this awesome event, and thank you guys for coming out for the fans. 2 questions. Both of you have awesome entrances, 2 of my favorites. In your opinion, who has the best? And question number 2, are you guys going to be with Impact in September when you guys run shows out here in Vegas?
Well, I think my entrance is better.
trying to think about someone's entrance, you know, that has really captivated me. Believe it or not, when I first went to WWE, I was so hardcore minded that like I didn't want the pyro and the lights and shit. They used to like they call my name these little lame sparklers, and then I'd walk through it and it would burn the fuck out of my eyes. I'd be in the ring like rubbing my eyes every time, like, oh my god, it hurts so bad. And I begged them not to do it, actually, where everyone else is like, can I have a sweet entrance? And I was like, I don't need that, bro. I do my shit in the ring, and that's how I came in, you know, believe it or not. I did think Rey Mysterio, I thought his entrance was cool when he like popped up on the platform and jumped up.
Yeah.
So that stands out as like one of my more favorite entrances.
Awesome. Good question. Good question. Do we have anybody else in the audience? Come on up. Go ahead and state your name and ask your question.
My name's Mark.
You can hold the mic. It's okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Rob, thank you. Katie, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Rob, I really appreciate it. I lost my mom back in October. It's not easy. These stages,
sorry to hear, dude.
Stages of grief and the depressing thing. I really thank you for speaking out on that stuff and spreading. It made me feel better in a way. It sucks, but we got to make the best of it. So, but here's the question. I know it's kind of a nerd one, but better dream match. You and Sabu fought the Lucha Bros recently, and then back about, I hate to say it, like 20 years ago, you guys at Heat Wave, I think it was like 98 or 99. It was
98.
98. Jinsei Skaki and Hakushi. Which was the better dream match in your opinion?
Oh, the one you just mentioned in Cleveland, or Dayton, in Ohio.
That was like my favorite. That was my favorite ECW, like real ECW pay-per-view, I think. Because I mean, well, the Dudley Boys were the greatest assholes that day. But you guys tore the house down, and
Yeah, dude, that was that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. That match was hard to compete with. I mean, when I watched that, it holds up. Like, it was such a kick-ass match. And believe it or not, I never met either of those two motherfuckers before then. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just have to say one thing.
It's our chemistry we all bring into the ring, you know, and it was like me with that competitive spirit, being hungry to prove, and that affected, you know, the showmanship. And dude, that was a really good match that I love, that stands out in so many fans' minds. The recent one with the Lucha Brothers, it wasn't as special for me. You know, I had wrestled Pentagon once or twice before, and to be honest, going into this, I thought, you know what? This motherfucker's a little bit arrogant. I think I'm gonna kick his ass. Yeah. And you'll see in there where I fucking shove him. You'll see when I fucking shove him and shit, and then his partner like tries to shove me and shit. That was me, you know, being like, it ain't going that way this time, motherfucker. You know, like, I'm gonna teach you something, bitch. But then, you know, the match was all right, and you know, some of my memories from it are gonna be inside memories that fans wouldn't even fucking know about, like the fact that it was a 16-foot ring and I could fucking, you know, reach both ropes at the same time. I hate it when sometimes they do that, and they'll be like, a 16-foot ring fits better in this building. I'm like, but I can't even do a Rolling Thunder. Yeah, that is something that watching it you wouldn't know. As a fan, you might go, is that ring a little smaller? But you don't realize there's a 16-foot ring, there's an 18-foot ring, which is my preference. There's a 20-foot ring on TV right now. And when you're in there, of course, that makes all the difference in the world.
I was actually just going to say, I was there at the Hara Arena in Dayton, Ohio, and you guys brawled in my row, and I was third row from the ring, and that was probably one of the coolest things for me at that time. I was in high school, and it was the coolest shit I'd ever seen live.
So we have time for two more questions. All right. How are you doing? You doing good? All right, go ahead and ask that question.
Okay, my name is Brandy. Thanks for being here. Rob, yeah, Selfie Queen.
Hi, Brandy.
Hi. So, Rob and Katie, you've done so much in wrestling. Just wondering if you have a match that you would like to have, or a dream match that you would like to have, or have already had, and would you let us know what that is?
Nope, Katie. Sorry, but honestly, like I think both of us are similar in the respect that we don't really have fantasy matches. It's like it's weird for me. Like I look in the ring, and it's like, there's certain guys that I like wrestling with, but it's always a compromise. It's always like a job. Oh God, I gotta work tonight. Hey, at least I got Ray. Cool, we'll have a fun match, whatever. But all right. But I never, personally, I never look forward to it anymore. I probably did 100 years ago, but it's always just like, okay, what am I gonna do to make, and then the certain guys I look more forward to, like, all right, cool, at least me and Jeff Hardy are gonna have a sweet match, me and Sabu are gonna kick ass, as opposed to me and some guy I've never worked before that's totally opposite, where I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be pulling teeth. For me, that is the job, and I honestly, for my whole career, whenever someone asks, who would you like to wrestle that you haven't before, whenever I've really thought about it, I always say, I guess, who's main eventing WrestleMania, because that's the big payday. And I know that's not the answer. That's not the answer that people want to hear, but there really is. I don't know. It'd be weird for me to look at the TV right now and be like, oh my God, dude, if I was in there with Ricochet, bro, I could do the splits, he could jump over me. I don't do that. It's like, that's weird. It's like I do what I do because I get paid and it's my job, but I don't fantasize about it. And for fans, they think that we live the life of fantasy and that we're wrestlers 24/7, and that that all of our values and morals are based on the wrestling fans' values and morals, and unfortunately, that's not the way it works.
It's almost like putting it in a perspective of, do you go to the tax man and ask, hey, what's your favorite, most exciting tax file return you're looking forward to this year?
Hey, maybe.
It's a very good point. Very good point. So we have time for one more question. Who is it going to be? Come on down. Come on, everybody. Let's give it up for our last audience question. All right. All right, sir. What's your name?
My name is Sean.
And what question will you be asking? You better make it good, too. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
So, Rob, back in 2005, you went to ECW One Night Stand, and you made that promo. Can you take us back? What was going on with your mind? What was going on with the mindset? Even though you had a torn ACL, you couldn't wrestle on that, and you just let your heart out on all those people in the Hammerstein Ballroom.
So, first off, the reason that we were there that night, I felt like was because of me. This was my dream, my vision that I approached Vince with, and he told me that he'd never thought of it before. And I followed that and guided it and massaged it to the point of, fruition where it became reality. And I was so excited about it. And then boom, I can't wrestle. I fucking tore my ACL. So of course I was so bummed. I would have given up a couple months of wrestling for WWE just to be able to wrestle on ECW One Night Stand. Because for me, that was like, dude, this is the chance for us to show the way we really want to be seen, the way we really want to express ourselves as artists, the way we really want to work on WWE's fucking platform. Like, we're going to be able to show the world through their window what we're really all about. I was so excited. Boom. I can't wrestle. So I was heartbroken. And then, I'm going to do a promo. So all the factors involved that I just told you led to me putting together the best promo that I'd ever had at that time. I had so much heart and passion in it that I just had to tell the story. I had to tell the story of my heart. You know what I mean? I was there saying, bro, this is the way we prefer, the way that we want to be seen, the way that we show what we've got. This is our fucking preferred method of exhibiting our talent and what we have to offer. And I felt so strongly about it that the promo was 100% shoot. Even when I said, we don't want those motherfuckers from SmackDown up there. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. Get them out of here. The whole thing was a complete shoot. Nobody asked for me to run the promo by them. Nobody knew what I was going to say, although I did run it by one person only when I was putting it together, because I wanted a dry run to make sure that I had all my thoughts and that I would hit them all. And so I asked Edge to step outside with me, and he's the only person that heard what I wanted to say before I did that One Night Stand promo. And he was like, bro, holy shit. He was like, dude, they're gonna fucking love that. And so I went out there and spoke from the heart, and said, this is what we're all about. Fucking, this is ECW, And so that was the shit. Yeah. One little tidbit of info. I heard that while I was in the ring giving that promo, I heard that somebody, I can't remember who it was standing by Steve Austin, and they said that Steve Austin said, well, hell, how come he can't talk like that for us? And that whoever was by him said, because they don't let him. And the thing was, I never felt that attached by heart to WWE and their agenda. I never did. I never felt like I'm here because I am WWE. I never felt like that. There's too many people that express that position. I was there regardless of who I was. That's how I felt.
Awesome. Give it up for yourselves. You guys had some amazing questions.
August 17th, Survival of the Fittest. FSW brings you Graves and Project Body Count. Oh, the numbers get bigger every fucking show. Who's going to get their fucking asses beat this next show? Survival of the Fittest. There ain't nobody fucking fitting up in FSW. Body Count is coming. Graves is coming. Survival of the Fittest.
Now back to Vegas BadBoyz of podcasting. Live from Boulder Station inside the Kicks Lounge, Vegas BadBoyz presents special guest Katie Forbes and RVD.
All right. So, Rob, next we're going to do a quick word association segment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to name off some names from the business. What I'd like for you to do is just name off the first thing that comes to your mind when I say these names. We're going to do this for 70 seconds. Are you ready, sir?
I guess so. I love when people say, like, I want a one word answer. Say the first word that comes to your mind, and they'll be like Paul Heyman, and the answer will be like, he's a guy that I know I can trust as far as I can trust him. I love that when they say one word. One words never work, but you didn't say one word.
No.
You said first thing that comes to your mind.
Yes.
So yes, I am ready.
Perfect. All right.
I just wanted to precede with that.
Awesome.
I don't know if I used the word precede right, but
you did. And,
okay, thank you.
And this is going to be pretty funny. Here in just a minute, you'll see why.
Sin City Steve.
Right.
70
I love funny.
deadly seconds starts now.
Paul Heyman.
Friend. The dude that realizes more than anybody else the value of the whole fucking show.
Sabu.
Sabu is hardcore.
Vince McMahon.
Dad.
John Cena.
John Cena, poster boy, validly so.
Ray Jr.
Ray Jr.?
Rey Mysterio Jr.
He's cool as fuck.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, cool as fuck.
And last but certainly not least, Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn, great wrestler, pushed me to my fucking limits as I did to him. #1 competition throughout my career.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, so really quick, we're going to do some mentions here. Impact Wrestling is heading to Los Angeles this coming weekend for live shows, August 2nd at the Esports Arena, August 3rd at the Florentine Gardens, and August 4th at the Ocean View Pavilion. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. And Impact Wrestling is back for live tapings at Sam's Town Casino right here in Las Vegas the weekend of September 6th, 7th, and 8th. And also, Impact Wrestling, in conjunction with Future Stars Wrestling, will hold an open tryout on Wednesday, August 4th at the FSW Arena. Do you have what it takes to be an Impact Wrestling
August
star?
4th?
September. Sorry,
Okay,
September
okay,
4th.
okay.
Yeah, September 4th.
It's 420 for him right now.
Yeah, man. So please, if you want to take advantage of that, come on out. Also, Sam's Town will have ROH coming in doing TV taping September 27th and 28th. FSW is back at Sam's Town on August 17th for Survival of the Fittest. And this Friday, you can see the lead up to the Sam's Town show at the FSW Arena. It hosts High Octane Judgment Day, August 2nd, 7 p.m. Pacific Time and 8 p.m. FSW time. And then there's some big news from our friend Vampiro. On August 1st, Vampiro's Pro Wrestling Academy opens right here in Vegas. And today we're breaking this news. The newest addition to Vegas' wrestling is Vampiro's Lucha Fight Club. And they're going to be having 3 shows going on at the Rio Hotel and Casino August 23rd, 25th, and 26th. And, as Katie mentioned, Lingerie Fighting Championship will be back at the Nerd Bar August 15th. Yeah. So come out, see Katie. They're all amazingly athletic and sexy. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better.
Wait. Are you sure they're at the Nerd Bar August 15th?
I don't know where the location is, but I heard.
Yeah.
I read something online that there was a discrepancy.
Really? Oh, well, then we're
and
gonna
that they
have
would
to...
not be returning to the Nerd Bar. So I assume they have a different location.
Okay.
By the way, I hang out at the Nerd Bar downtown. That's one of my hangouts. The owner is a good friend of mine, and most wrestlers know him. But I did read recently in LFC. I don't know if it was a press release or just maybe it was an intercompany email
release
kind of thing, but yeah, it gave me the impression that they're going to be finding a new location and not working with the Nerd Bar. Hey, but since I interrupted you anyway, one of the questions earlier asked somebody asked earlier if I will be at the Impact tapings at Sam's Town here in Las Vegas, September 5th and 6th, and I didn't answer that yet. I'd like to answer that, and the answer to that is fuck yeah. I'll be there.
Whole fucking show.
Well, that's. I'm glad you brought up that you hang out at Nerd Bar. Johnny is a great person.
Dude,
he's
good
amazing.
friend. I love Johnny.
And also, Tom Garland said he couldn't be here tonight because he is actually working tonight at the Nerd Bar. So anyone, I know they're going to hate me if Boulder hears this, but if you guys are looking for a place to keep going to drink, go down to the Nerd Bar, see Tom. He's there tonight, so that'd be a great thing. And also catch Tom Garland. We're going to be releasing an episode with him soon. He was talking about Headstrong. He is one of the guys who made it happen, so please support Tom Garland and his stand-up comedy. He's amazing.
Yeah, it was actually Tom's idea originally to bring the filmmaker / camera guy on this comedy tour, because I do comedy tours once in a while when I can, when it's worth it, whatever, with Tom Garland, my manager in that world. And he was like, look, we got this thing, you know, I got a guy we could bring, you pay him this much, he'd film it, we could make like a little movie out of the road trip. So that was his idea. He also could have no idea what the movie would become since I showed up with double vision and all. But but yeah, got to. But Tom's a good friend of mine, and I got to give him respect for his idea being to bring Joe Clark, the filmmaker, along.
Yeah. And again, please support Tom. He's one of the funnier stand-up comics out there. And finally, got to thank Terry Nielsen here, the one and only LV sign chick, for making up all these RVD signs.
Did you say the #1 side chick?
She's the Las Vegas, the LV sign chick is her handle.
Sign chick.
Yeah.
I thought she was a side hoe. I thought she was one of your special friends.
It's okay, the beard didn't spill. It's okay. We only care about the beard.
And once again, we can mention Blue Chew at this moment.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, again, our sponsor, and they just don't know it yet. If your mic is limp, Blue Chew will get you back up to snuff. Remember, Blue Chew, also Pink Chew for women, coming out soon.
Hey, did you guys have a great time this evening?
Look, thank every single one of you for being here, and thank RVD and Katie for being here. You guys, you make what we do fun. We just love having you guys here, and spread the word, because there's going to be bigger and brighter things in the future.
And when he means bigger, he means bigger. Just letting you know. No.
The very last things, we know that a lot of you all listen to our podcast, and we thank you and appreciate that. Just continue to listen, continue to download, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us as well. Get them to download it. Everything's about numbers. That's how we also increase what we're trying to do as well. So we thank you all for being listeners of ours, and just continue to help us build the brand. We truly appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, Rob and Katie, as well.
Hey, can I add some relationship advice?
Please.
All right, cool. So, one thing that I did after leaving WWE in 2007, a lot of people said I went on a sabbatical, which I didn't even know what that meant until people were saying that, but I really was trying to define myself. I knew that I was not exactly on the path I was supposed to be on. You know, like I was going in the similar direction, in the vicinity I was supposed to be going in. There was definitely some shit that I needed to figure out. And you know, like when you mentioned Katie and I being on this podcast together and talking about what it's like having a relationship and being in the business and stuff, you know, like I was looking forward to talking about that, because I just figured, you know, like we're so happy that whatever you ask us and whatever insight we can share, hopefully we could help other people, you know what I mean? But one thing that I know after 48 years of studying life, one thing that I know is that you have to know your own priorities. And most people do not. And that does take like another level of soul searching and self-study, which a lot of people aren't going to do, because most people are used to dealing with a lot of stress. They hate their job, they hate their car, they hate their house, they hate their family, they're used to hating life. I can't live like that. If I have one little thing that I hate, it bothers me so much, I have to either solve it or else I have to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not good with dealing with stress. Yeah. It's a lot of people always see me and think that I look always happy and shit. Well, I am, you know? Like there's times that when I'm not taking photos, when I'm working on my happiness, when I'm not as happy at the moment. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure that out. You know, like, dude, my life is so fucking awesome. Like, why would I not be like ecstatic like right now? Like, what is there? And if I find that there are factors that are obstacles in the path towards happiness, I have to deal with them. I have to deal with them. And so Katie and I are, man, we're so happy. Like, we tell each other so many times every day how much we love each other and appreciate each other. And I have no problem admitting, like, she's my fucking priority. Like, something else, whatever it is, it comes second. And if you're not willing to do that, then you just have to accept your own priority list and then just deal with the consequences. You know, hey, if your job's more important than the person you're with, okay, just own up to it. It's going to make your life so much easier. When you understand your own priorities, it makes life less stressful, because then you understand why you make the decisions that you make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because, oh, well, fuck, okay, I guess my career's more important. I didn't really realize that. And I've been like kind of lying to this person, keeping them going along. Why? But thing is, I love being transparent. I've said for years, I'm honest to a flaw. I told her that when I met her. I was like, you know, I'm overly honest, you know, and there's been times where she said, I wish you weren't so honest. Because I just flow with the mouth, like, hey, I'm living history. I want everyone to know every fucking fact, because this is all going to go down, whether in a book or whether in your memories, to help you make decisions on your life or whatever. But either way, I know that I don't want to change anything that I've done, because I can't. And I definitely don't want anybody thinking that something false is the truth of my life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. other than whatever, I give you guys the freedom. I give everybody the freedom to enjoy fantasizing whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And that's because I am an image, a public image. So if people want to say, like, dude, RVD's so cool, I bet on his time off he goes mud bogging in a big Jeep and fucking hunts with deer. Dude, whatever the fuck. All right. That's not true. And the more you learn about me, the more you hear me talk, the more you learn about me. But I don't mind people filling in the gaps if it's able to help them, and my image is fuller to them in a helpful way. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? But one thing that's very important that I asked, you know, to break the closing for is that, and my dad taught me this, when it comes to relationships, anywhere in life, you got to know your priorities. When it comes to relationships, if you really, really want to make the relationship work, and if that's the most important thing to you, then you have to own that. And you have to realize that comes before everything else. My dad told me before, if you're with someone, I was engaged to this girl a couple of relationships ago, and it was just to keep her going on. I was young, I was stupid. It was like, I knew I wasn't going to be with her, but I was young, and it was like, okay, a promise ring, okay, you know, convenience, okay, you know. And then eventually, but I was talking to my dad, and he said, hey, if she can always be the most important thing to you and you'll drop whatever to go to her, then she's the one. I was like, fuck no, I'm not even going to cook over if she calls right now. I was like, fuck no. But he said, my dad said, kids come and go, jobs come and go, money comes and goes, houses come and go. If you're marrying someone, you're making the one decision that you're committing to for the rest of your life. It's the only decision that you're actually making. So thank you, Dad, for teaching me the values to take that seriously, because I see so many of my peers that have so much stress in their lives that they cause themselves because they don't know their own priorities. Yeah. And they deny their own priorities to themselves and everybody else. So, you know, I would just like to say, if there was something I could leave everybody with, be honest to yourself, Know your priorities. Katie is my priority. If she said I need to go right now, fuck you all, we're out of here.
And with that,
Fuck
we
you
out of
all,
here.
You're out of here.
Cool.
Thank you so much for checking out that video. If you liked what we did there, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, slap that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you can be a part of the notification squad. Follow us on social media at Vegas BadBoyz with a Z on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And until next time, we will see you in the next video.